I'm here with card collector and artist DJ Skee at the headquarters of Dash in Hollywood, California. And we're gonna have a look around his incredible office and card collection.
Welcome in, Geoff. This is my office.
Look at this. Look at this. This is cool. This is amazing right off the bat. Amazing.
So it's convenient. We have cards and coffee downstairs, right?
Yeah.
We have a 25,000 square foot building right here in Hollywood, and this is our Dash studios and kind of whole like work office space. And up here is my actual office where you can see like a lot of the little memorabilia and plaques and things around, from Tony Hawk signatures to Lionel Messi signatures to plaques from Game, which is probably where the first time a lot of people heard me was. Right over here is kind of fun because it's the whole poster set for each season of the TV show. So this was actually just season one, the guests on the TV show, but you can see how early it was. Like, it was the first time Travis Scott was ever on TV. He didn't even have a picture yet, right? Like, so we had to make a silhouette of him. First time on TV for everybody from MGK, Logic. Over here is my favorite part. It's the Vikings memorabilia.
Sure, you're a big Minnesota guy.
Oh yeah, so seats from the Metrodome where the Twins and Vikings played. My home stadium where I still DJ for all the Vikings games. And then a game-used signed jersey from Harrison Smith, one of the greatest safeties of all time at this point.
That's
right?
awesome.
So
you're one of the most interesting people, probably the most interesting person in kind of the whole card business overall. The TV show, the music career, the building that we're in. I guess first of all, what is Dash?
Like, so Dash, we launched a radio platform. I was at Sirius for 10 years, iHeart for 7 years, and we launched Dash. The first product was a radio product. So we have 80 stations. We power over 15 million listeners a month for everybody from Snoop Dogg on down.
For people who haven't checked out the show yet, tell everybody about that.
Yeah, so Skee TV, we were on TV for 5 seasons. Again, first place, you know, I kind of got known as being the first to introduce artists like Gaga, Kendrick, Bieber, and the first time ever on TV for a lot of these people, Nipsey Hussle, Travis Scott. So we go back and, you know, on that YouTube channel back in the day, we generated, you know, over like almost 3 billion views over the course of that. So it was a, you know, great ride in the way that after I started doing mixtapes, I kind of evolved from mixtapes to radio and TV before I started focusing more on the business side of things. And that was like, you know, my second act. So it was so fun.
All right, well, I know we kind of walked by some of this stuff here, but I want to linger on some of it a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So first of all, you know, you got a lot of obviously music pieces in the office, which makes a lot of sense given your music background. But what about Messi? Why Messi?
So I got that as a gift, and he personalized it to me, which is awesome. So, and getting, I mean, maybe the greatest player of all time, it's just a no-brainer. And that's something that no matter where you are from in the world, you might not know the baseball players, you might not know football players, but you definitely know Leo Messi. Everybody knows him. So that's so cool to have over there. Yeah,
that's really, really cool. And then of these different, I mean, you got so many cool, you know, musical pieces on the wall and all these different things over time. What's maybe your favorite? What's the one piece that you just love displaying?
I mean, truthfully, I don't like having that much about myself up. It's only in my office because it's more for like business and when people come in, so they get a little context, but I don't have anything in my house of myself. I love the things like the personalized Tony Hawk skateboard that I got from him, which is awesome. My first article ever back in 2001, I was like 16 years old. So that one's funny. Hits Magazine, which was like a radio industry trade magazine. Some of the plaques are fun, right? Like all the work that we did back in the day with Interscope during that like heyday of, you know, kind of that whole era, everybody from Snoop to Game, 50. Yeah, lots of memories over here. This is fun too. It's like I think they made 3 of these.
I've never seen it before.
Jordan
That's incredible.
Xbox.
Look at that.
Yeah,
wow.
So I think there's 3 of these in the world.
Look at that. So over here is the thing that probably a lot of our people watching know you the best for.
Yep.
And that is all of the cards that you've been creating over the last few years. Collaborations with Topps, some of the Project 70 cards that you've been doing. You've got your own cards. I know you've been doing some collabs with eBay as well. Some absolutely amazing cards. Tell us about this. How did you get involved with this, and what are you doing with it now?
So I've always been into cards, and cards were actually my first business as a kid, right? Like when I was an 8-year-old, I was selling them out of my garage, and that was my first entrepreneurial endeavor. From that, you know, I got fortunate enough to get connected with Topps, and it started with helping them around Project 2020 and interviewing some of the artists who I'd known for a long time, like Mr. Cartoon is one of my mentors, and the first person that really embraced me when I moved to LA. So it was great being a part of that. And then they reached out for Project 70, and I'd always designed like my own mixtape covers, right? Like as a DJ, that was how we'd sell them back in the day. So art was like something natural to me, but I wanted to come up with a great concept when I started designing my own cards. And then I decided to like mix sports and music and had this idea to kind of combine those elements, and luckily it worked. This is the comic book that I designed last year for, this Kid Cudi themed for Marvel and Doctor Strange at Comic-Con. I mean, this is kind of crazy. Todd Lieberman gave me this. Shout to Todd, he's a huge card collector. This is from one of the movies that he did, Sugar Ray Leonard right here. So
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's sick. And that's what he used in the movie. Right here, this is like a metaverse thing, like it actually recreates touch if you put your hands around it.
So we're gonna talk about that. I want to hear more about that. Because actually, we got to show this. We got to talk about this
book,
too, right?
If you would have told me that like my first book would be about the metaverse, I would have thought you were crazy a couple years ago, but you know, it just came out and we hit #1 on business and in like economy on Amazon, which is insane.
That's awesome. And we're going to talk about this because I know that's been a big part of what you've been working on recently.
Yeah.
All right. One more thing though, we can't you know, be in here without acknowledging you've got a key here to St. Paul, Minnesota.
My hometown.
That's your hometown. You got a key to the city, and there was a DJ Skee Day that took place there about 6 years ago.
Yep, May 26th, I got DJ Skee Day, which is crazy, right? Like,
That's
it's just
awesome.
so cool to go to my hometown. And for me, it's about inspiring the next generation, right?
Yeah.
Like, look, if I can do it being a kid from Minnesota, like you, and come out to Hollywood and live this dream. I'm not the smartest, I'm not the best. If I can do it, you guys should be able to do it. So I love empowering others, and that's just a really cool, you know, fun thing to go back and to say to have.
Awesome. That's cool. Well, let's sit down for a few minutes. I want to take a look at, I know you brought some cards.
Yeah, I got
to
some
show.
stuff for you. I knew you were coming, so I had to bring out something special.
Let's do it. All right, Skee, it looks like you've got some fun cards to show us here.
Yeah, I brought like from my own personal collection. Most of my stuff's in a vault, but this is like PC stuff that I just love. So be warned, it's going to be mostly like Minnesota, like 90s oriented stuff. That
my PC is like 90% Florida Gators.
Yeah,
so
exactly,
you know, I get the feeling. I get the feeling.
So we're going to overwhelm you. So if you're a Minnesota fan, you're going to love this.
You mentioned Minnesota, so maybe we start with perhaps the most famous basketball player ever to play for Minnesota.
KG, Kevin Garnett. So of course I just brought a couple of his. So it's a 95 Finest, which is, you know, just one of his iconic cards.
Very hard card to get in a PSA 10.
In a 10, right?
Like that's an impossible card to get in a 10.
I love the SP, like that mid 90s SP upper deck, as you'll see in a second. I just love. So there's the die cut SP All-Star Garnett. And then here's like a throwback. I love these hollow views, speaking of SP, but not Garnett. Somebody that I was like, I grabbed this just because it was so random, and I loved him until he switched teams.
Yeah.
But I was like, maybe with the China market and stuff, Could be a good investment opportunity,
He's
right? Like the way
that
it is. He's like the man in China and stuff too. And it just reminded me of childhood. Like, damn, imagine if Marbury and Garnett stayed together.
All right, so from the Timberwolves to another Minnesota team, we've got the Vikings here.
Vikings. I'm just gonna, Randy Moss cards, right? So everybody knows that one, but like some fun ones like the Crown Royale, Fleer Brilliant. These are all PSA 10s. Best performers. I love this downtown one.
Downtown
that I just got.
Yeah.
And this is I have so many of these cards. Like because I love them because they're individually numbered, right? The die cut, Randy Moss, 98 SP Authentics. These are numbered out of 500.
The Future Watch.
Yeah, so there's the 2000, the base one that's 2000, the die cuts that are 500, and then there's auto versions too.
Yeah.
There's like the base auto, then there's the numbered silver auto, and the gold one. I'm looking for the gold. I don't have any. I think they're numbered out of 10. The silver's out of 50. I have a bunch of the base numbered 1 gold, so if you have any of those Moss ones.
There you go. You know your buyer here if you've got Randy Moss numbered cards. There you go.
Let me know. We got to keep it to the Twins now.
Yeah,
right?
we'll just go from one Minnesota team to another.
We'll start from different eras, right? Like Harmon Killebrew, so had to do that. To, of course, like the late Kirby Puckett, you know, the man who won us, you know, 2 World Series championships. This is a fun one, right? Like that's his first.
I had not seen that one before.
Card. Yeah,
so that's his minor league card from 1993.
I sent that one in myself. Too.
1983, excuse me, 1983.
Yeah, I got that graded the year that I was born, so it's crazy to see. 91 All-Star Puckett. This is the error because it says NL All-Star on the bottom.
Okay.
So it's always fun looking at like those error cards. Of course, it was an AL card, and like Kent Herbeck rookie, like true Twins OG stuff. The Topps Tiffany Puckett, the Fleer Update Puckett.
A lot of guys who I played with in RBI baseball back in the day.
Yep, and then to more modern Twins, really close with a lot of the guys on the team. One of my good friends is Luis Arias, who's best hitter in baseball right now. Like what he does is phenomenal. Just so interesting to watch every at bat. Leading the league in hitting and made his first All-Star team.
Yeah.
So shout out to Luis.
Yeah.
Like I started picking these up because I knew how good he was a couple years ago, and now everybody's starting to catch on. So a bunch of Luis Arias, Topps Chrome Update rookies. Over here, my other guy, who's just my favorite player to watch.
Yeah.
Maybe he's getting up there in terms of all time. Like just so exciting. Every night he's a highlight reel. Byron Buxton, and I was so honored when I made his card last year because he hit me and was like, hey, that's the coolest card anybody's ever made of me. So I combined the DMX cover with Byron Buxton, and he actually signed.
That's really cool.
So I actually bought this one on eBay because somebody did a signing. I didn't even have him sign it. I was like, oh,
you bought your own card on eBay, signed by him.
Somebody sent it to a signing and had him sign it in that pink. I was like, oh, that's dope.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
And then talking around too, like some of the other stuff that we have here is, from my own collection.
These are all ones you've designed.
Yeah,
part of the Topps
like
Project 70 right there.
King Griffey Jr. mixed with the Seattle scene. So I was inspired by not only Nirvana, but Soundgarden.
Okay.
In terms of album covers and the design, like the bottom's kind of from Soundgarden. And it's also because I got to tour with Chris Cornell. He was the first person to take me to South America. So RIP to Chris Cornell, but he's a big Mariners fan and big in that scene. Here's some of the companion cards that we make. So this is number actually 1 of 70 of the red Toronto Vlad Jr. cards. And this was a fun one. We actually did this in promotion with eBay and SoulStage when I sold a bunch of my shoes on eBay. Anybody that bought one of my shoes got one of these cards, which is based on the Drake album design.
Very neat.
And somebody graded this. It got a gold 10.
Got the gold 10.
Which is tough.
That's almost impossible to get.
It's impossible. And again,
rare.
I saw that on eBay. I was like, I need that. That's great.
SGC's version of like the black label.
So it's my first gold, and it's my own card, which I love. And this one actually brought me, like, Tatis loved that because Bad Bunny's his favorite artist.
Yeah.
And so I got connected with him, and they had me come out throughout the first pitch at a Padres game last year. And
cool.
We've got some fun stuff coming with him. This one went crazy last year. Like this almost hit $8,000. It's the 10-10-10 collection. So I took 10 cards that were all graded PSA 10s, and numbered them out of 10, and the Ohtani just was nuts, especially that year. Like his market is crazy, but this might be my favorite one.
Okay.
So for the National last year, as we talked about, we did the free giveaways. 4 iconic Chicago moments. 4 iconic Chicago music covers from Kanye. This one's based off of 808s and Heartbreaks, and it's inspired by Patrick Kane, right? Winning those Stanley Cups and doing his famous pose. This one he signed 808s and hat tricks instead of 808s and heartbreaks. So seeing that and then his signature with number 88, which is crazy, right? Like it's just such a fun card.
That's really neat.
And then over here is like some fun stuff. Like if you know me, I love the 94 Upper Deck set, the Electric Diamonds. So this is one of the...
what draws you to this one in particular?
Just as a kid, this was the one that I was always after, right? Like King Griffey Jr., especially the Electric Diamond, getting it in a 10. And this was the Home Field Advantage, which is one of the rare insert ones that was there. And I just, love that design. It was one of the first cards, I think, that had foil was this year, right? Was with the Upper Deck designs in that. So I just love that. And again, going to the holo views, like the Jordan baseball card and seeing him, and this is the die cut red version of it, just that like little holograms I think are so cool, and you don't see a lot of those on the cards anymore. So it just brought me back to my childhood, which is why I have it.
You're really cool.
So
really
fun.
cool. And last but not least, this is an absolutely iconic card, one of the most notable players of all time in baseball, and you said this was one of the highest grade ones out there.
This is the only SGC 9. There's none higher in the world out there. There's 2, I think there's like 3 PSA 9s, but no SGC 96. So you could argue that, especially SGC grading of this card in this era, this could be the highest graded card of this in the world. And I love it too because my dad taught me about Satchel Paige, and I did a report on him, and that's what like really educated me about the Negro Leagues and how incredible he was. He wasn't pitching once every 5 days. He was pitching every night for like barnstorming, going to team, and just like statistically, I mean, nobody knows his true stats. He didn't make it to the majors until his late 40s and still like did great. So to have that card and just this Bowman design is just so beautiful with like the way that it's sketched and the way that it pops out. So this might be, one of my favorite cards in my collection.
That's awesome. That's an awesome collection.
It's so cool. I knew you'd appreciate that.
I do. I really do appreciate that one. I love that. That's real cool.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
So I want to switch gears for a second. I want to ask you about what you're doing with the metaverse. We saw the book that you just came out with, and I've seen you you've been doing like some promotions with like Paris Hilton. And you've been getting, obviously, the building in New York, like you've been putting a lot into this. So what is the Where is this all going, and how are you playing a role in it?
We made an early bet on the metaverse, right? Like for me, I saw, I'd always been into gaming and saw just how consumers were spending their time in platforms like Roblox. And anybody that has kids under 13 probably knows that already. The stats are ridiculous. Over 60% of the population is on it for like 2.5 hours a day. So it's real. And at first I didn't understand it. I was like, wait, why are they doing it? The graphics don't seem that cool. But it was, following my niece, I realized like, wait, she's going there to interact and hang out with friends. And it was just an environment to hang out and where they were getting together. And I was like, wow, if we create environments with the talent that we have, and we know how to do events, that's what I've done my whole life. When we create events in the metaverse and these platforms, that's what's going to be forward thinking. And now fast forward to a couple years later, and now metaverse is almost annoyingly like a buzz term, right? Like everybody's talking about it, and people didn't know what it was when we started talking about it. So we built a lot of these worlds and just jumped in early in that space. We believed in it and made a bet early on, and fortunate enough it worked out. And now to put out a book through Wiley too, which is the biggest institutional publishing company in the world, is great because I can say that I have like the textbook on the metaverse, which is just wild, and it's fun. And we think that like, look, we're still in the early days and in the infancy of that, but the opportunities that are coming through that and Web3 in general are just tremendous.
There's a lot of collectors, a lot of card collectors and collectors of physical things that almost seem intimidated by the concept of digital collecting, and whether it's NFTs or collecting items in a metaverse. People seem intimidated by that, or they seem almost scared of it, like it's somehow going to take away from their physical collecting and what they know and love. But you do both.
100%.
You're obviously a big physical collector. We've seen all of your cards, but you also have had a huge presence in the metaverse for the last few years. How can both coexist together?
Totally. I think look, what's happened in the NFT space happened so fast, right? And like some of the prices just got ridiculous, but that's what happens anytime there's a new market, right? Like there's speculators that come in, things are overhyped. I mean, we saw that happen to the card market again several times, and the resurgences that it's had. So it's natural product cycles, and now it's kind of getting balanced out. And we think that there's opportunities on both sides, right? Like there's different use cases and advantages. Like I think even what Top Shot, if you look at what they did, not just taking like a physical card and saying it's an NFT, but taking a video of a moment, which you can't do on a physical product, right? Like you can't put a video in a card yet. So like it's taking those use cases and then gamifying it, and things like that are interesting. And that's just as interesting to me as buying and ripping the latest packs. But I think there's a place for both of them. And I think there's going to be more connection between that world and the physical world, where they're going to become one and the same years and years down the line. Meaning if you buy something, it's going to probably exist in both of those realms.
Right. What is next for DJ Skee?
Man, I don't know. If you would have told me years ago I'd be writing a book on metaverse and designing cards, I would have thought you were crazy, right? And now that's become like the biggest parts of my business on both fronts. So for me, it's just about having fun. Like I'm fortunate enough to wake up every day and do things that I love. It's gaming, it's buying cards, it's interacting with my favorite athletes, it's playing music for fans, and I'm just living the dream every day. So I hope to keep it riding.
Well, appreciate you living the dream with us for the day-to-day. I'm sure everyone out there appreciated that.
You've always given me the support, so thank you for always, giving me the platform and helping and supporting me too, man. I really appreciate it.
It's awesome, dude. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, and welcome to LA. Anything you need.
Thank you. LA has been great. Thank you, DJ Skee. Appreciate it. Guys, if you enjoyed, please hit that like and subscribe. We'll see you soon with our next episode. Take care.